Welcome to the channel, The Story Sphere. Alfred the Great, the king who saved England, Old English legend. Map of ancient England, smoke rising from villages, Viking ships approaching. Narrator calm and serious. In the 9th century, England was not one land, but many kingdoms. Northumbria, Mercia, East Anglia, and Wessex divided, weakened, and then came the storm. The Vikings, fierce warriors from Scandinavia, began a brutal conquest. Cities fell. Kings died. Churches burned. The English were on the brink of extinction, but from the fires of destruction rose a king. His name was Alfred. He would become the only English king to be called the Great. Act 1. The Making of a King. Scene: Royal Court of Wessex, young Alfred learning from monks and warriors. Alfred was the youngest of 5 brothers, a quiet boy who loved books and prayer more than the sword. He traveled to Rome as a child, and was blessed by the Pope. Few thought he would ever wear a crown. But fate had other plans, one by one. His elder brothers died in battle against the Danes. In 871, after a hard-won victory, Alfred became King of Wessex, the last surviving Anglo-Saxon kingdom. At just 22 years old, he faced a kingdom torn by war, surrounded by enemies and with little hope. Act 2. The Dark Days. Scene: Viking invasion, cities burning, villagers fleeing, Alfred on horseback. The Danes struck with fury. Their leader, Guthrum, pushed deep into Wessex. Alfred's army was scattered. In the winter of 878, he lost everything: his kingdom, his army, even his court. Alfred became a fugitive. He hid in the marshes of Athelney and the swamps of Somerset. The King of England was now a man without a home, surviving on scraps, hiding in shadows. Scene: the famous story, Alfred burns the cakes. Legend says he once took shelter in a peasant woman's cottage. She asked him to watch her cakes baking on the fire. Lost in thought about battle and God, Alfred let them burn. The woman scolded him, not knowing she scolded her king. Narrator reflective. Even kings must face humility before they rise. Act 3. The Return of the King. Scene: Alfred in prayer, then raising the dragon banner in the marshes. In the heart of the marshes, Alfred rebuilt. He gathered loyal men, planned carefully, and waited for the right moment. Then, in spring of 878, he rose. With a small army, he launched a surprise attack at Edington. His forces met Guthrum's Vikings in a ferocious battle. Scene: Epic battle, Alfred leading his men with sword in hand. Alfred, voiceover, commanding. Fight not for gold or land, fight for England. The shield walls clashed. Blood stained the fields. But Alfred's courage inspired his men. They drove the Danes back. Guthrum surrendered, but Alfred did not kill him. Instead, he offered peace and a new path. Guthrum was baptized a Christian, and in return, the Vikings agreed to settle peacefully in the Danelaw, eastern England, while Wessex remained free. Act 4. The King of Wisdom. Scene: Alfred in court, surrounded by scholars and scribes. Victory in war was only the beginning. Alfred turned to peace, education, and justice. He believed ignorance was as dangerous as swords. He began translating Latin books into English, the first time many had ever seen knowledge in their own tongue. He revived learning, restored churches, and taught his people to read and think. He also built a navy, the first English navy, to defend the coasts. He created laws based on justice and mercy, blending Christian values with Old English customs. Scene: Aged Alfred writing by candlelight. Alfred, voiceover. What is a kingdom if not a place where wisdom and law may live? He was not only a warrior, he was a philosopher king, a rare soul in dark times. Act 5. Legacy of a Legend. Scene: Alfred's death in 899 AD, people mourning. In the year 899, Alfred the Great died, leaving behind a stronger, united Wessex, the seed from which England would grow. His son Edward the Elder and his daughter Thelfold, Lady of the Mercians, continued his dream. Eventually, under his grandson Athelstan, England would be united as one kingdom. But it began with Alfred, the king who stood when all seemed lost. Closing scene. Modern-day statue of Alfred in Winchester, birds flying overhead. Narrator soft inspiring. Alfred was not just a king. He was a torch in the darkness. A symbol of learning, strength, and endurance. The only English ruler ever honored with the name. The Great,